Hello, it's Jeannie Schmidt, and it is great to be here with you today. Our topic today is who is in your circle. It's a message for women who want to surround themselves by people who will support and encourage them to be all they're called to be in their walk with God and to fulfill the destiny that they have. So without further ado, let's get started. The first point that I want to talk about today is that all friendships are not equal. I want to share a story with you that goes back many, many, many years to when I was a teenager, and I had two friends, and we were the best of friends. We did just about everything together. We had sleepovers, we went to movies together, we followed boys together, we just did all the things that teenagers did together, especially girls, just hanging out and doing things. But one of the things that we loved most was going down to the mall. It was about a mile away from our house, and if the weather was good, we would walk. But this day, we didn't want to walk. I can't remember if it was sunny or if it wasn't, but we didn't want to walk. So one of the parents agreed to go ahead and take us down, and we got there, and we had a great time. It was a two-story mall, doesn't exist anymore, and we would go up and down and look for boys. We'd go in the stores, try on clothes, get something to drink, have some snacks. It was just a great time. But this day was a little bit different for me because my parents had told me, yes, you can go to the mall, but you've got to leave earlier than they're going to leave because we have something going on. So suffice it to say that I was really disappointed. I was upset. I really didn't want to have to do that. But it ended up being a good thing, and I'm grateful for what happened now. Because what ended up happening is after I left, the two of them decided that they were going to give shoplifting a try. And so they went into one of the big box stores, and they picked up just little things, inconsequential things, things that didn't cost a lot of money. And they were successfully trying to get out of the store without being caught, which did not happen. So they discovered that the security guards had identified them and were coming after them. So they went into the store bathroom and they proceeded to flush the stuff down the toilets. And one of my friends, all her stuff flushed down successfully. So they couldn't charge her, but the other friend, hers didn't all flush. Some of it floated back up to the top. So she was caught. And as a teenager, she ended up being charged with shoplifting and had a court date. Her dad had to come pick her up, and that was the end of that story. But what I learned from that is that you need to be careful about those people that you surround yourself with. I knew them, I loved them, I cared about them, but I also knew that they didn't have the same values that I did, and that we need to focus on that. So it's important that you don't compromise, that you surround yourself with people who aren't going to compromise, because if I had been around them, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I would have had the strength of character at that point in time in my life to say no. So be sure that you look at that, because what happens with the people around you could impact you. 1 Corinthians says, it's 1 Corinthians 15:33. So stop fooling yourselves. Evil companions will corrupt good morals and character. So the second thing that I want to ask you is, are you setting yourself up for success? The late Jim Rohn, a great motivational speaker, put it this way: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I want to take a second here and just stop and ask you to think of who those 5 people are, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Now, when you think of those people, can you trust them? Are they people that when you speak to them, when you share with them, when you're going through life with them, and they're sharing confidences, you're sharing confidences, do you know that you can trust them? Do you know that you can trust them to encourage you and to support you and to be to help you to become the person that you're meant to be? Do they have good character? Just in general, is what they do in line with the way that you would live and how God would have you to live? Do they have your back? When the rubber hits the road, are they there for you? Do they help take care of you? Do they watch out for you? Do they step up and help you in the battles, whether they're emotional or spiritual or physical or whatever they may be? Do they frequently let you down? If they frequently let you down, then that's just not somebody that you need to have in your inner circle in that tight space, because you need somebody who you can count on. One of my mentors from a few years ago, Jeannie Mayo, says, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." I was a youth pastor for quite some time, and that was one of the things that I would quote to the youth a lot, and it was absolutely true. Depending on who they hang around, I knew the kind of character that they were going to be dealing with, and I was concerned for that sometimes, because it's hard to be an influencer when there's a lot of characteristics that aren't positive. So it's up to you to decide who you surround yourself with. So number 3, who is in your circle? The success of your journey depends on the strength of the people in your circle. So I want you to envision, actually you don't have to envision it, I decided to draw or make a picture of it, a circle that is like a target. And in that target, you have the outer circle, you have the middle circle, you have the inner circle, and it's very hard to read, but the closest circle of friends. And we're going to talk about these circles because you know who had these circles? Jesus had these circles, and there are actually more levels to Jesus's than we're going to talk about today. But the very first circle is that outer circle, and that was the masses. Those were the people who followed him around, the people who listened to him, the people that he poured into, the people that he spoke life into. And they would follow him around, they would listen to him, but then they'd go back home, and there wasn't any real relationship. They weren't even necessarily acquaintances. Then he had the 72 disciples. These were the people that Jesus chose so that these people would be groomed. He would pour into them. He spoke life into them. He taught them. He trained them. He probably helped them develop better characteristics, personal characteristics, so that they could go out and spread his word about the gospel. And those were people that he would have poured into and he would have been more familiar with, but they weren't as close as those 12 disciples. I think that the 12 disciples were actually more of a family than just friends. I think that they were tight, they supported each other, they encouraged each other, they fought like a family. There were challenges in there, but those are the people that Jesus drew closer to and poured into more, because he knew he needed people who were going to carry the characteristics of his ministry forward. And those were the 12. And then of course there's the 3 people on the inside, Peter, James, and John. And those were the people that were his closest friends. They knew everything. Jesus shared so much with them. He connected with them more. He took them into special places and special situations. And I want you to think of each of your friends and identify where they fit in these circles. If you're looking at the circle, who fits in the outer circle? Who are those people? Maybe they're people that you have maybe in the middle or the inner circle, and it's time to move them out a little bit just because of what's going on in their life or how they're operating, or maybe it just doesn't align with what you're doing. How about the middle circle? Those are the people that are acquaintances. You're going to spend more time with them, and you want to know their characteristics and how they operate as well. And then you've got that inner circle. Those are the people that they need to really be the people that you know, that you can trust, that you can contact at any point in time, that will take care of you. They'll take care of your back. And then what about those people that are that very closest inner circle? And those people are the ones that you go to and you can be the most vulnerable and most truthful and seek them to speak truth to you in love. Maybe you need to let go of some of the people in your circle. Maybe you need to add some. Maybe there's some people that you've been looking at or being just kind of in tune to, and you're saying, you know what, I'd like to have that person in my life, and maybe it's time to add some people. Maybe it's time to renew some relationships. I think it's easy in this busy world to not be able to connect with people the way that we used to. It just gets busy, life gets kind of crazy, and even in spite of the fact that you want to talk with them, you don't. And maybe it's time to renew some of those. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A dear friend will love you no matter what, and a family sticks close together through all kinds of trouble." And those are the people that you need. So here are today's big takeaways. Number 1, the people you surround yourself with make a significant difference in your life. Number 2, don't compromise. True friends are the ones who are going to help you to grow and become the person that you're meant to be, so that you can serve God and you can go out and help other people to become the people they're meant to be. Number 3, set yourself up for success by separating yourself from friends who don't share your values. Number 4, remember Jesus had an inner circle of 3 and then 12. Make sure you have those people because you're going to need them and they're going to need you. Jesus is a great example. Bottom line, Jesus chose his closest friends super thoughtfully, and if he did, shouldn't you? I am super glad to have had this time with you, and if you're interested in learning more about this message, I'd like to invite you to sign up to receive a copy of my free ebook, Exploring Divine Drift. You can get it at jeannieschmidt.com/#ebook. I want to thank you for being with me and watching the video. I look forward to seeing you soon.